Hey everybody, we got some Friday Night NBA. He's Tony George, I'm Scott Spreitzer. We are DocSports.com. And before we get to today's free pick between the Nuggets and the Clippers from Staples, a real quick note: if you've yet to become a member over at DocSports.com, you're missing out. And if you want to give it a trial run, it's a real cool way to do so. You click on the link below the video, you get yourself set up for that free $60 account, which you can use on Tony's Daily Plays, my Daily Plays, or anybody else over at the DocSports.com roster. So check it out, click on the link below the video. It's in the description box. Let's talk a little NBA. We've got the Nuggets at the Clippers, and I'll tell you what, Tony, we're looking at a line that's going to be around 5. As we're shooting this, there is one book that put out a 5.5. Not so sure it stays there
Won't last
by
long.
the time we get to Friday morning. So it's about 5, and the total is going to be around 220. And I'll say this, the other day I had Denver and Detroit under. It was 216 the night before. It got all the way down to 214.5. It's a real easy winner. They scored 213 points. We cashed by a good point and a half. Real easy. But anyway, I think just like in that game, when you think Denver, when you think the Clippers, and I'm talking about the general public, they're thinking points. I'm not so sure about that. I think this total might be a little bit too high. Tony, your thoughts?
Well, yeah, you take a look at the Clippers here, and God bless them. They won a 7-unit pick for me against the Suns on
There you go.
Thursday. And one thing about this game here, the first game here, Scott, 114 to 110. I wrote it down so I wouldn't forget. And the total was 221 here. The one thing the Clippers have done here, their last couple of games, and they really have kind of fallen from grace a little bit in terms of playing very, very good, consistent basketball, like the elite teams in the West have been doing. The Lakers and so on and so forth. As they buckled down, played some defense. They held their last two opponents to 97 and 92 points. But the big, and I do agree, I think points are going to be at a premium in this game, especially with a couple of the biggies out in the Western Conference in the NBA. But as I take a look at this game, Scott, the one thing that jumps off the page at me, and I'm curious to get your thoughts on it, is the fact that the Clippers here, third in the NBA in rebounds, and Denver is ranked 17th. And I think that's going to be a big difference in a low-scoring ball game when you're talking about easy putback points and taking away easy points. Now, I know Denver's real good on the offensive boards, or the offensive boards, but I think they're going to get countered here with the Clippers. I think it's going to be a very interesting matchup here, and I do think the Clippers should be favored.
Well, that's why the Clippers have a great shot at representing the West when it comes to the NBA Finals. And Denver, a good basketball team, got some talent on the team, but you mentioned the rebound deficiencies.
Big
and
time.
that's where they're going to be hurting. That's why they probably won't get out of the West. The Clippers, the better team, obviously. But again, here's the thing. Before I start jumping in on futures or anything like that, I'm not to play a lot of futures, but I got to have what I'm thinking about the NBA Finals. A couple of teams that are really good with defensive efficiency. And Clippers and Denver both are good in that,
they are.
particular category. They're both top 10 as we speak in defensive efficiency in the NBA. And I think what you're going to see here is kind of like what we saw in the second half of the first meeting, Tony, which was they scored a ton of points in the first half. It looked like an easy over. And then after halftime, when things got serious, you saw both teams pick it up on the defensive end. They both got a little bit more deliberate on the offensive end. They both wanted to take their time, make sure they got good shots. Defense played well. They scored a grand total of 100 points after halftime. I think this is an under. That's my play. I'm going to play the under. What's your play on this one?
Well, I'm thinking what you said there. One thing about both these teams is they're extremely well coached. And in the NBA, when a team is well coached, like Boston, like Toronto, they work the ball around and take a good shot versus going down and just throwing one up with a bunch of big-name shooters here, which also eats a lot of clock, which would lean towards your under as well. By the way, I think the Clippers get all over them.
There you go. Clippers, under. Not a bad two-teamer, huh?
No, not a bad two-teamer
If you're going to play
at
a
all.
parlay, I don't.
Why not?
There you go. All right, he's Tony George. I'm Scott Spreitzer. We are DocSports.com. Check out our videos all weekend long.